flag, then I'll say a prayer myself.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we ask that you be with us tonight as we conduct this city business. Lead us, direct us, give us wisdom, O Lord. We all ask all this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Now call this meeting of the Fort St. John City Commission to order. Before we actually start, if we could just maybe have a moment of silence for all the Las Vegas people that was in the concert the other night when the gunman broke out on them. So if you would, let's just take a moment to remember those people. Okay. Get this evening started. We have two consent agendas. We have a regular commission meeting on 9/19, and then we had a special meeting on 9/26.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Thursby, a second from Mr. Ashbrook. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And before we go any farther, Commissioner Lowry is out of town on county business. He won't be with us tonight. That's why he's not here. All right, Bill's not here, is he? You got anything you want to
No, the only thing from the PSJRA, we approved our budget for next year today, and also we are still moving forward with a stage at George Core Park. Once we get a really nice stage, very similar to what's at Veterans Park at Beacon Hill, what we're looking at, then we think George Core Park will almost be complete, and it'll be a great gathering place for different events and so forth. So that's all we got from that, Mayor.
do? All right, Mr. Attorney.
Yes, Mayor. The first thing on the agenda this evening for me is the ordinance 543, the medical marijuana moratorium. I need you to call for a public hearing and vote for a second reading and adoption.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address this today? Ordinance number 543, medical marijuana. This is going for a second reading and consideration of adoption today.
Move the second reading.
We got a motion from Commissioner
Second.
Bezet, second from Commissioner Ashbrook. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0.
Ordinance number 543, an ordinance of the City of Port St. Joe, Florida, amending ordinance 529 by extending the temporary moratorium on the operation of medical marijuana treatment centers and licensed dispensing organizations excuse me, within the City of Port St. Joe for an additional period of 12 months, unless rescinded or extended by a subsequent ordinance or by a subsequent amendment to the city's land development regulations regarding the regulation of marijuana treatment centers and licensed dispensing organizations, providing for conflicts, severability, and an immediate effective date.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, I have one thing to add
Sure.
on that. I did speak with Senator Montford and Representative Brashears last night to the effect of, are there going to be any possible changes to that marijuana legislation this session? Both of them pretty much said there's no chance. They advised me that we possibly look at a way to incentivize these dispensaries to go to a different area, the ones that we determine are appropriate. As far as collecting taxes on it, it doesn't look like that's going to change. So we're looking at, in February, possibly bringing this up again, and maybe, you know, if we like the idea of Commerce Park, maybe we incentivize them to go to that area. But there's really not a lot that we're going to be able to do. I say we hold tight and see what happens this session, and then looks like we're going to have some pretty tough decisions to make. And that's all that I have.
All right.
Move for adoption.
We have a motion from Commissioner Bezet.
Second.
Second from Commissioner Thursby. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
The second thing I have on the agenda is an update on the case of the City of Port St. Joe versus Mike. Where that case is, I'm not going to get into really any kind of great details, but it has come back up. Our insurance company is handling the defense of that, along in consultation with me. I didn't look and see how long ago it was, but it was probably a year or so ago. You guys voted to hire Patrick Floyd to represent in that case. He has done a very commendable job up to this point, but I do believe it's time for the city to go ahead and let him go because the insurance company is handling the defense.
Do you need a motion for that?
Yeah, I think you need to vote to
I make a motion to turn over our representation in the City of Port St. Joe versus Mike over to the League of Cities, I believe is who's taking it?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we got a motion. Have a second.
I'll second.
Second, Commissioner Brazil. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I don't know if we need that motion to, pay any outstanding,
I think you probably should and go ahead and include in that the paying of his bill and directing staff to go ahead and terminate his representation of the city. in this
Can we,
matter.
for the record, know what that bill is?
I believe.
Yes, I put a copy in each of your box, so it is. Senior,
bring mine in, it's 14,000 some odd,
Okay.
some odd.
I'll amend my motion to include, let's pay our past debts that are due to him and move forward with the league.
Second.
Have a second. All right. First and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries forward.
That's all I have this evening.
All right, thank you very much. Jim?
yes, sir. The first item we have under old business is speed bumps on 6th and 7th Street. Commissioner Thursby was working on that.
Yes, guys, spoke with y'all 2 weeks ago about this. I do have a lot of information. I've sat down, I've gone over everything. I've had Public Works Director, Mr. John Grantland, go with me and me kind of give him some details of where I wanted to do and what I wanted to do. Right now, what I'm gonna do is put everything that I've came up with on one piece of paper, kind of show y'all what I want to do, and I'll put it in y'all's mailbox this week. In 2 weeks, then I'll bring it back up for a vote, and I think a lot of the neighbors will be here that night also. That's all I got on that, Jim.
Okay. All right. First item we have in our new business, Mr. Sean Farnsley's here tonight with the Boy Scouts. He has some information to provide to you.
Hello, my name is Sean Farnsley. I'm presenting on behalf of the Troop 347. And
Talk a little bit louder.
my name is Sean Michael Farnsley, and I'm presenting on behalf of Troop 347. We were thinking of doing bat houses behind the school, and they would be like about that big, and they'd be in that ditch area behind the school on that bike trail thing.
Yeah, he's talking about, Sean came and talked to me, it's part of a Boy Scout project. And, it'll be between, basically 20th Street, and Niles Road towards, so it's in that wooded area behind, that's away from all houses. Nobody would know it there. So go ahead, Sean, I'm sorry.
Sean, tell us what the benefits of these are. What are they gonna do for the community?
It would have a place for the bats to go because they help eat all the mosquitoes.
That helps.
It is. Well, we thank you, and I'm all for that. Anything the Boy Scouts do, it's a good program.
Sean, how many of you are you guys talking about putting along that area?
20.
20? So, okay, so you evenly space them out, I assume, along that area?
Yes.
Okay. And I think I would suggest, any area along there that's not completely wooded on both sides, probably not install anything. Just to keep them,
A
away
little
from.
hidden.
Now, you know I am afraid of bats and snakes, but I hate mosquitoes even worse, so I can appreciate this.
Bad house in Kingsville.
So,
What do we need to do as a board?
Mr. Clint, do we need to make a motion to allow them, since it is city property, allow them to construct bat houses on
I
that
believe you
area?
would.
Okay, I'll make that
All
motion.
right, we have a
Second.
motion, Commissioner Brazil, second, and Commissioner Ashbrook. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries forward.
Congratulations.
Good luck, Sean.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next item we have is a reference to Marina Pennington's contract. She had called last week and indicated that her contract is expiring on 10/1. What I did was did put a copy of the last one she had last year in there, so I gave it for you tonight for consideration.
Jim, have we used, Marina's money from last year? Did did she have some planning? Because my understanding was that money was available if needed, but part of her contract, that's up to a certain amount.
Right.
Yes, sir. I think if I'm not mistaken, the year before, I believe it was $20,000. We reduced it down last year down to $10,000.
Right.
We did do some work. Right now, the only project she's currently working on is a comprehensive plan update that's due in, I believe it's due in April or May. So she is working on that one project there, but we try to do as much as we can in-house with that.
Right.
So what, I mean, a maximum of 10, but she only bills us, of course, for the work she does, I
Yes.
assume.
Correct.
So, okay.
What, Jim, what are the comprehensive plan? What kind of numbers do you look at for a job like that?
That's gonna be close to the $10,000 mark if I had to guess. That's a pretty big project on there. She sent a bill last week, I think it was in the neighborhood of about $1,500. So I would suspect you're gonna see several more of those. It's a quite large project that's gonna have to come before you, a lot of meetings.
Well, and guys, I don't know how many of you have been approached by people in the community that have tried to work with Marina Pennington in the past, but I've had at least 2 citizens that have been working on projects that have been not very satisfied. You know, kind of like attorneys, you got to shake them up once in a while to get good work out of them. And I think that this may be the time of year, or this time, to see what else is out there. Maybe do an RFQ, and if she's qualified and is the best out there, then let's go with her. But I'd like to see us maybe rebid this.
I agree.
I do too.
Just one question. Okay, we'll go ahead and get the ad out there for the RFQ. Do we
Sure.
want to halt all work with Ms. Pennington at this point, or do you want to do it a month by month until we get somebody on board?
I'm fine leaving her doing what she's doing until we make our decision.
We make the decision.
Yeah. So
But
a month-to-month
Do we,
contract.
yeah, and at some point though, do we need to put a deadline on that month
Yes,
to
sir.
month? Because we can go month to month from here on out.
Why don't we
even need a contract.
retain her until the end of the year?
That'll be fine.
Okay.
Y'all
Because we'll try to
comfortable?
get it back to you as quick as we can.
Sure.
If we start the RFQ process next week,
And
we'll
we
try
would
to get
say
something to the
effective
paper,
January
so
1st in that RFQ.
You're probably realistically looking at 2 months to get some names in front of them.
Okay.
probably.
Sure.
All right, I'm fine with that.
Okay. So I think we had a motion and a second.
No,
No, we
yeah,
hadn't
I'll
done
make
it.
that in the form of a motion to extend Marina Pennington's contract month to month through January 1 and go out in RFQ for other options.
I'll second
Got
that.
a Motion by Commissioner Ashbrook, the second by Commissioner Thursby. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries forward.
The next item we have is in reference to Mr. Keith Nichols. He had actually met with the mayor and myself a couple of weeks ago. We talked about trying to get back on TV, and he brought a proposal in there for us to look at. This would be through WeWalk Channel 17, which he would have an agreement with MediaCom. What he's talking about doing was doing your 2 regular meetings and then working with you on a price. He gave a quote for special meetings or any other meetings that you may want to have advertised or put on the MediaCom.
Jim, I have a question on that. You say WeWalk Channel 17.
Yes.
Is that also viewed? Because I don't have
available here.
MediaCom. It's available here?
It's
In
not.
it
See,
is or it
17's
is not?
here?
17 for MediaCom, but it's not for Fairpoint.
No, correct.
No, but my
MediaCom is, if anybody's got MediaCom, they'll be able to see it.
Right, and my thing is, and I don't know if they still do or not, because I have a dish, but, the counties used to be on Fairpoint and MediaCom both. Have you heard of reasoning why Mr. Nichols cannot also involve Fairpoint?
I think he's
Do they-
tried to have discussions with
Uh-huh.
it before. I don't know what the options are on there, but I know he has been trying to get other avenues besides MediaCom, but to this point, all he has is MediaCom.
MediaCom.
Yes,
I mean, I think it's fair price. I'd
do
like to
too.
see us do it, because a lot of people want it.
Right.
You hear them talking about it all the time. Be money well spent for us, but I'd like to make the form of a motion, but I'd also in the motion like for him to pursue
Fairpoint.
putting it on Fairpoint.
Yeah, me
Right.
too.
As well as MediaCom.
Me
Right.
too.
And I think his intentions are to try to do that.
Yeah.
My conversation with
So,
him.
so I'll make that form of a motion.
Second for discussion.
Got a motion from Commissioner Zip, second from Commissioner Ashbrook for discussion.
Real quick, Jim, is he willing to hand over the raw data to Ms. Charlotte so we can get that on our website?
Yes, sir. As far as I know, nothing on that avenue would change. We'll still have hours that we do here as a backup, but the plan is to do it the same way. with his permission to be able to have it on the website and to have it on media content.
I'm just hoping
Yeah.
that maybe the audio's a little better. I've been watching videos and it's really hard to make out.
We're hoping that he's gonna give us some tips. Hopefully he's got better equipment than
Sure,
what we have.
okay. Second, Stan.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 4.
All right, the next item we have is a reference to, the commission building signage. We've been trying to do a couple of things for improvements around the facility here. One question we get is about where the meeting location's actually at. So what I did was, I did reach out to Willie Ramsey. He did give us a quote on, putting some signage out on the building, something for you to look at. You don't have to make a decision tonight, but if it's something you wanna move forward on, we'll take a look at it. Also, as a handout, I gave you the prices. I did get those from Ms. Shirley yesterday. To be able to put this type of signage on the front of your building, where folks could actually find your commission chambers, you got a couple of different options. You got options 1, 2, and 3. If you like the lettering on there, but you wanted to look at the logo is where the price comes in, the different logo types. If you went with the basic option 3, which is just a vinyl overlay, you're looking at a total of $1,376. Okay, if you went with option 1, which is the custom form 30-inch logo, you're looking at $1,856. Or if you went with a nice or very expensive sandblasted type sign, you're looking at $1,816, which is a little bit different, was actually a little less. So
Would-
basically, that's 3 options for you there too, if you want to put some signs on.
And I'll tell you from experience, if you lay vinyl out in the Florida sunshine, it will curl up and peel. About every 3 years, we have to replace the vinyl on the signage that we have outside. So if we're going to do it, let's do it where it'll last. And this
So
is
again, the total numbers are the grand totals of installation, setup, shipping, letters, the whole 9 yards.
Yes,
Is
but I
that
totaled
right?
up everything out to the
Okay.
side of your different options for you. That way you know the total.
Right.
and there's only a $30 difference between sandblasted and painted.
Oh, yeah, I think option 1, if we're gonna do it. we're
Yeah,
gonna
I
do
do
it right.
too. Hey, let me ask you something, Jim. Is this the logo we're talking about?
The
It's
city-
actually the city seal, so it's actually it's actually
Okay.
the one with the
Okay.
monument on there.
Yeah, I
So
like
it's actually
that.
the nice one.
I do like that. I
does
just,
look good.
while we're on this subject, if you notice that these colors are blue and orange, and I would like to see us go to garnet and gold.
Mine's red. Who does your laundry?
I do. Anyway, I was just kidding on that. That's another, I'll bring that up later. I'm making, I'll
Option
make the
one?
motion that we go with option 1, guys, for the, price difference. I think to go first class if we're gonna do this, and, because that's a big question I have. People are like, well, I didn't even see the building, and you can kinda understand that.
But actually, this, I know Jim wants to get our, kind of our good housekeeping seal on things like this, but still, that's way under your
Bid
your
threshold.
threshold. So, I mean, you could do it if you wanted to. but
Absolutely.
Thank you for bringing it to us.
It's y'all's meeting space, we want to make sure y'all, it's something
I'll,
y'all like.
I'll second.
You can second.
I'll second it anyway.
We got a motion from Mr. Thursby, a second from Mr. Ashbrook. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 4. All right.
The next item we have is in Clifford Sims Park. About 2 weeks ago, Mr. Grantley and I met with Daniel, who actually runs the marina, and he presented to us some different things to look at. Right now, you have an agreement on the Fishing Express where they charge $1,200 a month for the dockage, which is against city property. You get back half of it, $600 a month. Daniel said he don't have a problem paying that, but he wanted us to consider something else. He is trying to spruce up the marina area. So what he took us down and looked at was on the inside portion of Clifford Sims Park that faces the marina. He's looking at doing some landscaping. So what he was looking at doing was putting landscaping in with irrigation and maintaining it, to see if you would consider some type of exchange for the $600 for landscaping. Would you rather have landscaping, or would you rather have the $600?
With the $600, we just need to start, in my opinion, the $600 a month, we've accrued probably, how much?
I think it's about 13,000.
About $13,000, and we have done some improvements down there in the past with the decks. What I think we should do is start spending some of that money on our own to start doing landscaping and cleaning up, instead of because the landscaping's gonna be a one-time deal, and then the upkeep, we're gonna be upkeeping it anyway.
Well, I think the point, though, we don't have to maintain it. They said they were gonna maintain it, is that correct?
That's the key, that's the one thing we talked about on there.
It's just man hours that got me
How
worried.
much
John doesn't
of
have
it's on
time.
his property? How much on is St. Joe property?
Well, the way ours goes, if you go down by the Fishing Express, if you take a 90-degree angle, we have the property from that point around. The other portion is his, so it's not a large portion on there, but where your expense comes in is the maintenance on there, spraying it, taking care of it. If you're gonna have a professional company come in, as we said before, we can mow pretty good and weed eat, but
We
maintaining
can,
the
but for
grass.
$600 a month, we
Yeah,
can
and that was
probably
our
go out.
problem. Once it was built, you know, the Joe Company, you know, built it, or developed Jetty Park for us. You know, paved it, put the structures, the landscape. It was very nice. But our problem, from the city's perspective, was the maintenance. You know, the fertilization, the weed killers, everything that we just don't have the personnel or time to do, and the end result is what you see now.
But he wants to maintain just what he
No.
upgrades. Well, I understand.
Well,
He upgrading on his own money, or he wants to
He
take some of the
wants-
600?
He
Well,
wants
what
to
he-
take some of all the 600.
right, that's this proposal.
Yeah, I ain't on that right.
So, is he willing to work with us on, let's say you said 13,000 approximately we've given, or received. What if we were to spend, like we're supposed to do with that 9-parcel waterfront money, what if we took $5,000 to help them with the starting of it, and then maybe reduced our rent by $200?
I think he's amenable to any of this stuff.
I
think
mean,
he
that
was
way
just
we
trying to
still have
figure out
revenue
some
coming in, we
improvements.
still get $400 a month, but 200 is basically making it to where John doesn't have to come up with another crew to do maintenance.
Why wouldn't we just go out for an RFP to take care of all of it down there every month and have Clifford Sims Park down there, somebody come and do the pine straw, all of it, to relieve John and them for some duties? I really believe we can get that done for that price.
I like, you know.
I think at the end of the day, he just wants to see landscaping. I think he's wanting to make some improvements down there. Honestly, I
I'd
think
like
he'd
to
be happy
see
as well.
what he wants to do, because if we go into a contract with him on that, then it starts looking bad, and we're gonna say, well, you said you were gonna maintain it. He
Yeah.
said, well, it looks fine to me, so we get arguing about that. I'd just soon, us keep it, and we'll keep it up. And keep
yeah.
our
Well,
$600.
let's ask him what he wants to do. Maybe the money's there that we can do that easily.
Let's do this, let's each go look at it and come with some ideas on it. Like I said, he was just trying to make some improvements down there, so,
Can we just table it and you give us his contact information?
yeah, absolutely.
Because my idea was he's gonna do something where there's no landscaping now. And what John's saying is, he's talking about all of Clifford Sims Park.
The whole park.
No, just around the inside of the marina.
The inside
that's
portion.
Toward, yeah, just
Inside,
what he
yeah.
sees, right.
Yeah. If you go around from where, Jay Richards.
I don't see this as a no-win for us and a win-win for them. I say we reject this offer and we come back and go out for an RFP ourselves.
I'm not sure I'll go along with landscaping on the inside of the marina. Not seeing all it from Clifford Sims Park roadway and all that anyway. I'd just like to see us maintain what we have a whole lot.
Well, and
better
just
than
because
we
it's
do.
on the agenda doesn't mean we have to make a decision. Let's just, I mean, maybe we just don't,
Yeah, I just told him I'd bring it to y'all for consideration.
Yeah.
We'll just look at it.
I'm still trying to picture what they're gonna landscape. It's rock, isn't it?
No,
Rock that
it's-
goes down to the
No,
little
it's
dock.
grass in
Is
that
it grassy?
area.
Yeah,
Okay.
it
The
was
dock
actually
and
landscaped.
where you walk.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I'll give him all of your contact information. All right, let's see. The next item we have is in reference to the TDC membership. Commissioner Ashbrook wanted to talk to you tonight about it.
Yeah, I only bring this up because I think back when you were appointed this last year, I had said that I would not be interested in serving on that board as long as my boss, David Warner, was the president. I just didn't want implications of sunshine violation, and so I am interested in the position, but I think I don't know, Mr. Mayor, are you happy on that board, serving on the board?
Well, as I say, I was asked to serve on it,
Sure.
and I've only been to one meeting.
So you have no idea yet.
I would like to be on it for a little while longer.
Sure, I just wanted to bring up that I would be
And-
interested if it comes up again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, I just feel obligated to do what I said I would do when I was asked
Absolutely.
to do it.
And there may be a meeting sometime soon. I heard the whole board switched.
Pretty much a new board.
Wow.
I would
Yeah.
like to comment on this particular thing. My job with the TDC ran out Sunday, this past Sunday, when I turned this job over to somebody else to keep from a conflict of interest to be, there not be a conflict of interest. It was, in my thoughts, was until such time that I was no longer working for them. I have learned over the past 3 to 4 months a lot about what the TDC does, about a lot of what goes into the TDC. I've gained multitude of knowledge about the TDC. There's some things I like, some things I don't like, and I would like to go back on that board. So, all that being said, I don't want to go in there and take it out from underneath the mayor, but in due time, I would like to roll back over there. You know, I don't know if I want to say we're going to wait till, I don't know what the meetings are going to be like. I spent 4 years on that board, which should have been about 48 meetings. I only went to about a dozen of them because they didn't ever have them.
Well, and Commissioner Thursby, what do you think about when we get a new board? Every year that we get someone, a new board
And I'm
going
fine
in,
with
that we
that.
just we re-talk about and reassign positions at those times?
I'm fine with
Is that fair?
I'm fine with that. I feel like right now I'm probably more knowledgeable about what goes on with that Tourist Development Council than anyone else after working on that board for the last 6 months.
And I think.
As a bed taxpayer, you may be, but that's all.
Yeah.
Commissioner Thursby, I mean, you've got a lot more knowledge about it now, and I don't believe it'd be a sunshine violation for you to talk to our current member, because we have no vote as far as the city on there.
And that's what I've been told. I have not asked Clinton.
Say, Mayor,
Yeah.
you could pass that on to the mayor. Is that, would that be a sunshine violation?
If you wanted to tell the mayor what he thinks is right or
If you
wrong.
wanted to talk about TDC business to the mayor.
And the mayor's on the board, and William's no longer working for the TDC.
That's correct. And he just got some ideas that he'd like to pass on.
I don't believe it would be, because it's not directly.
It wouldn't be-
city
There's nothing
business.
we
It wouldn't be
vote on.
voted on
Right.
here.
We pretty sure of that though, because there are
I would
people
like-
that would throw
I
my
would
butt
like to
under the
look into
bus.
it, because I
Yes.
just got hit with it and make sure, but off the top of my head, I believe that.
I think you're right too, but I don't wanna go to jail over the TDC or anybody else.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right.
All right, the next item we have is in reference to the Northwest Florida League of Cities meeting. Commissioner Ashbrook want to talk to you tonight about it?
Yeah, and this is actually pretty exciting. When I was down in Orlando, I got, some time to speak with Jenny Anderson, who is the director of the Northwest Florida League of Cities, which is one of the most active regional chapters of the Florida League of Cities. They do a lot of work in Tallahassee. They reminded me to say they don't lobby, they're advocates, so they advocate for us. And they would like to host a meeting, one of the regional meetings here in Port St. Joe. Tentatively February 22nd, which is a Thursday. I'm working on finding a location, but if y'all are cool with that, I just want to let y'all know. And also, there is a meeting, the next meeting that they're having is in Defuniak Springs, December 12th. I would love to see us get more
I would
involved.
too.
We're like the most centrally located city in their whole area. And so I think they would host more events here. They're expecting about 50 people, so that's good for us to showcase our community.
Northwest Florida.
No, Dave, it had been in discussion, mentioned about you getting on that board.
It is. and
Is
I-
that something that's a possibility? Because I'd love to have you as a representative on that board for us.
Yeah.
How's that go?
Yes, I was invited to be on 3 different committees on that board, and all of them had to do with lobbying. They want me to be on the federal action strike team, where they'll fly me to D.C. to go and talk to people. They want me to advocate in Tallahassee. I do want to get involved, but the last meeting they had was last Thursday, and it was in the town of Jay. All 200 of their citizens and their 5 roads.
There's an old
So
rig on every one.
I couldn't make it there, but I did tell her that I am interested in this meeting right here. I'll probably solidify a position on that board.
Good.
Good.
So I'll keep y'all posted as we go through.
All right. Anything else on it?
Just a reminder, we have a workshop scheduled for Thursday at 6 o'clock right now currently.
All right, Public Works.
Mayor, we've got a lot of different projects going on, current and future, so I don't want to take up time with that, but if there's any specific questions from the board, I'll be more than glad to answer.
Anything for John?
Nothing.
I like to give him a kudos, praise, you know, had some things come up this week and approached John about them and he took care of them right away and people already come to me and said, hey man, how'd you get it done so fast? I said, I don't know. I just asked the man if he had time to do it. So anyway, John, I appreciate it. Thank you.
I got to reiterate the same thing. I had some potholes. Actually got in the truck with John and went and showed him where they were. And I think you called Mr. Mayor at the same time. So I
called
think
the
you,
same one I
yeah,
called
the same.
No, it was different.
No, different ones,
Different
but we were on
ones,
the
okay.
same project, and
Yeah,
everything's
so many
been
big
taken
stuff.
care of. And I was approached with some things today. Took a ride with John, and I mean, I appreciate it. And I'll take a ride with any of you guys anytime too, because I always feel like that. But y'all's job doesn't have that word in front of it, public. So I get all the phone calls for John. Sometimes though, it's not always a blessing, is it, John?
No.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, John.
Thank
Surface
y'all.
water.
Appreciate you.
Nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor, unless y'all have questions.
Everything going good?
Anything for Larry?
I've got one, maybe for Larry or Jim. Did we go back out for an RFP on the clarifiers?
Yes.
And what is the timeline on that?
13th.
13th is opening bids? Okay.
Friday the 13th.
How'd we do on cleaning those? Didn't we clean 2 of them?
That's what we're talking about. We had to rebid it out.
Yeah, we'll
We
rebid.
gotta do a repaint on it.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Let's go to Finance Director.
I don't have anything. We have started our new fiscal year and we're working hard to wrap up the last fiscal year in preparation for audit. So I don't have anything right.
All right.
Kevin, I got a quick question for Kevin. Are you up staffed yet? Have you hired your last, or you still looking?
Still need one more.
Still looking, okay. Are you going out for advertising that again, or are you just gonna stick with, you re-advertising?
Again.
Okay. And how many, you've got, Ms. Charlotte, what, y'all get 9 or 10 applicants for
I
that?
think it's about
We got
8.
8.
8? Okay. Well, hopefully the right person will come along.
They will.
All right. Anything else, Larry? Kevin? All right, thank you, Kevin. City Engineer. Come on down.
Good evening. After our last meeting and discussion about the boat ramp, we sent all that information over to FWC to ask their blessing on it. And, unfortunately, they got back today and said they did not want to fund or could not participate, or some wording of basically not funding the additional stuff that we asked for. So that was through email. I'd like to follow up with a phone call, kind of feel that out a little more. I'm not convinced the reasoning, but anyhow, that's kind of where we're at.
None of the things?
Yeah,
line
that's,
items like lighting
it was a
and
really
all that?
short email back. I mean, it was a 2 or 3 line email back, you know. So you know,
Clay, I got
makes
faith in
sense.
you in 2 weeks. You just gotta make the right phone call.
Yeah, we just need to get the right person involved.
That's right.
So that's where we're at on it. I'm not saying it's not gonna happen, but that's where we're at.
Okay, thanks.
So the work to finish what's still in their contract, they do have some concrete work to finish what's in their contract. And we've kind of been waiting until this scallop season
Scallop
ends,
season.
which is coming up. So, at some point, we need to discuss, you know, when is the best time to close the ramp to do the concrete work, whether that's a couple of weeks. And if y'all wanna think about it and take that up on the 17th, we can do that, you know, the meeting on the 17th.
When's
decide.
scallop season end,
I
y'all?
think it's Sunday.
Sunday.
It is
Sunday?
Yeah.
We got some more.
So, I mean, we wanna give time to get the word out. you know.
Honestly, there is no right time, Clay. I mean, we're gonna get phone calls no matter when you close it.
You're right.
Just pick a date and don't tell me, and I'll hide out.
I know it still needs to be warm, but right now there seems to be a lot of people in this shoulder season out spending money and time.
They did say in that same email that we're getting the 3-month extension is still coming, so that would
Okay.
push the grant expiration to the end of the year. So I don't know that we're under the gun to start it next week.
That's
you know,
what
in
I'm
terms of
wondering,
timing.
could we maybe the
December.
1st of December or something and do it, you know, and then
I'm perfectly
that's
fine
slow
with-
time.
I'm perfectly fine with, you know, let's decide officially in 2 weeks. what
All
you
right,
wanna
let's do that.
You know, just
Let's
think it
Y'all
over.
fine with that,
I
board?
think pushing it back as far as possible.
Don't you agree? Let's push it back as far as we can if we got that 3-month extension.
Okay. The Long Avenue project, I think we're just waiting on the workshop to be set up and scheduled.
Yeah, we need to try to figure out a time to do a workshop so we can start doing the laydown, especially on the sewer. That's the questions we got. What I'm thinking is if we could have a time in the next 2 to 3 weeks, if we can meet maybe one day at lunch and just start the process. It's gonna be a lengthy process, several meetings. Let's go ahead and get started, see what we can do.
Y'all set it up.
Yeah, I agree with that, and we've already got, that's a bonded project, I believe.
It
with
is.
road bond money, and Mayor Halsey Bashir said last night that he and Montford are working hard on Long Avenue, getting us extra money on Long Avenue. But still, I would like us to look at a soup to nuts job on that Long Avenue as an application to Triumph. We've got, how much money do we have in the bond?
It's right at $1 million.
Right, $1 million,
Plus or minus.
so we could, they like matching. We could say, we got $1 million match. Y'all give us $1 million. I mean, that's significant. If we wanted to fudge a little bit, we could say we had $500,000. Would they, give us $1 million or a half? That way we'd have $2.5 million. We could do the infrastructure part and the paving. I just, that Triumph out there, and you practically got it engineered already. So what do y'all think about that?
I think Triumph, I've spoke with Jason Schoaf a couple of times, and I think they're giving heavy weight to projects that have to do with education and economic development. He said not so much. You can apply, but it's less likely that you'll get approved for infrastructure projects, is what I understand.
But it's still allowed.
Sure. Yeah, you
It's
can
still
still allow it. You
under
can ask.
Triumph, I know that. And so, and that being, I mean, this is a stretch, but that being the major artery to both our schools, I mean, that could be a stretch, but
Sure.
it still could be that way. And with the match we have.
It's shovel ready and we have matching
and
funds, and that's what I've been told.
Yeah, and if we've got the thing ready, we've got a huge match. We don't have just $50,000 match, we've got a huge match. I'm gonna talk to Jason, see if he thinks that'll fly.
Well, and we need to move on it. The
Yes.
application process is almost out there publicly, and they're accepting applications immediately once that comes out.
I know.
And it's
But they
first
will-
come, first served.
They will accept one directly from the city involved. You don't particularly have to go through the county.
That's correct.
So I certainly like us to keep pursuing that, and I'll make a point to talk to Jason and see if he thinks it'd be worth our time to see if we get, let's finish this job, do it right. We're gonna want to do that for a long time.
That's the key to me, is the infrastructure, the paving, everything at one
All done
time,
at
so
once.
that we're not doing what we've been doing.
That's correct, yeah.
Do we want to try to set up a workshop to discuss? some of
That's
this stuff?
fine, yeah.
Looking at the calendar, we meet on the 3rd and the 17th. What about the 24th, maybe at noon? That would be during our off week.
What day is that on?
They're
The
Tuesday.
24th,
It's a meeting.
Tuesday.
at noon, would that work?
When is this?
24th
Maybe
of October.
October the 24th at noon, Mayor?
What do you think,
Fine
Mayor?
with that?
That'll give us a couple weeks. to get some
Mayor,
things.
you good with that?
Yes, I'm good.
I think I'm okay
Okay,
with that.
all right.
Just remind me.
All right.
Okay. Jones Homestead Sewer, we received the permit from DEP, and so we had made that application, and they reviewed it and gave us a permit. So I think staff has been working on kind of formulating a game plan for getting the word out and signing folks up, and that'll continue. But I think we're kind of done with our part for now, anyhow.
Yeah. First step we're trying to do is we're getting a letter out to everybody. Mike got us a list of everybody that owns property in Jones Homestead. We're gonna shoot that letter out probably this next week, get in, to find out exactly who's interested in sewer. Then we've gotta bring it back to you, and we've got $250,000 initially to work with. So then we've gotta formulate a plan as to how much work we're gonna be able to do with that $250,000 and what kind of break we're gonna be able to give folks. So
Right.
we're gonna bring it back to you.
Have we bid it? I say, do you want to go ahead and go out for bids for materials and everything, so we kind of know what our residual may be?
Okay.
Is that something the board wants to do?
Yeah, I think it's smart to go ahead and be proactive. Is that what your thoughts
Absolutely.
is?
That way we know what dollar.
Do
we're
you need
looking
to
at.
put that in the form of a motion to give you?
Sure.
I'll make a motion to get,
All right, we got a
for them
motion
to
from
move
Commissioner
forward
Thornton.
and
Do you have
get.
a second? second from Commissioner Brazil. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
And it's not on here, but just real quick on the CDBG project, I think all the paperwork has been signed now, all the forms have been turned into DEO, and we are, literally waiting on Pat Howard to say, hey, have your pre-construction meeting and get started. And so we hope to get that, hopefully any day, we'll get that meeting scheduled as soon as we can, get a start date. The contractor contacted me a couple of times, they're ready, so, that's where we're at.
So
As
we're
soon
ready
as-
with the contractor and the materials, and all we need is they're okay to go ahead and do it.
We've got the contractor signed up. He has given us the submittals for his materials. We're reviewing those, and we'll have those back to him in a couple of days. And yeah, as soon as Pat Howard says, do it, we're ready. So that's where we're at.
You think
Yeah,
we'll be
it's-
doing
it's-
it by November?
I would hope.
I hope so.
would hope. I
As
would
soon
hope to
as you get the
started.
information on that, Clay, could you automatically let us know, because I'm getting asked all the time
bet.
from
Sure
people,
will.
and I understand why.
Yeah, sure would, absolutely.
All right.
And Mayor, just so you know too, from our respect, the alternatives that are part of that project that we're doing ourselves, we opened bids on the 12th for your approval on the 17th, hopefully for the materials and bores, which will coincide with Clay's work on that side, so we all should be able to start about the
That'd be
same.
great.
Good, good. All right.
That was all I had, unless there were
All
questions.
right, anything else for Clay?
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, your code enforcement,
Got it.
law of the unlawful accumulation, increase of 31. Waste violation, increase of 3, and total increase of violations of 37. Of a total of 728. Some have been closed, some have not. All right, any questions about that?
I wonder, Mr. Mayor, is some of this caused from, the storm, and they doing the, the Clinton, the county, I think, did the thing where everybody pick up. Do you think, is that something that normally happens, John, that when that happens, that people forget it's just debris and limbs, and, maybe a refrigerator could be debris, or,
You asking what the county is doing?
well, I know the county did a free pickup, or what was it they did,
For
Jim?
debris, I believe.
For debris and stuff, which falls also in the city. I'm wondering if part of this, us being up on our violations, could be related to that.
I don't know that the county's been in the city picking up anything.
Well, and that's my thoughts, the county calls for pickup to where they're gonna do a voluntary pickup, but they don't pick up in the city.
Yeah, well,
So they volunteered us, I guess.
I haven't had any conversations with anyone about
We
that.
do it all the
We
time.
pick up.
Well, I know it, but you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah, if they're gonna do it, they should do it for the whole county, not
That-
just the outlying areas.
That's my thought.
That's what you're saying.
Commissioner,
Yeah.
probably
I agree.
with the wind
I
though, we
agree.
probably did see more debris, because with all the wind, I think we do, if you ride around town, we have a lot of debris right now. With all the winds excessive, we probably do have some more.
Now, I think the county was pretty specific in stating though it was yard debris only.
I think they were too, but that doesn't
They
always.
could have come in the city and picked up too.
They could.
Possibly.
Well, I'm gonna make a motion that we do free pickup for Indian Pass, and I'm just kidding.
I think you went with no second.
Probably
All
not.
right, police department.
Not today.
We don't have one.
Chief Sachs did, he's got practice tonight, so. he's
Okay.
got practice.
All right, Ms. Charlotte,
I don't have anything, sir.
okay? Citizens to be heard. Anyone in the audience wish to speak tonight on anything? Come on, Ms. Leland.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Howdy.
Good afternoon.
My name is Lisa Matthews. I'm on 1312 Avenue F. John, I want to thank you.
It's been a long time coming, Ms. Lee.
Yes,
John.
the
What
sidewalk
did
is
you-
finished. Yes, the sidewalk.
Sidewalk
is
is finished.
completed, and I want to thank
It's
John.
not 100% yet, but it's there.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
there, and it's how do you say it? Waiting to be.
Backfield.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Dressed
it
up.
looks good,
Does.
yes, and I want to thank you,
You're welcome.
you and your crew. All right. I have another question. The code enforcement wrote me a violation for my property. and I cleaned it up, but in the process of that, I was told that the city, county, or whoever it was gonna supply me with the dumpster so I can finish cleaning the inside. Did I hear it wrong?
I think you did. I don't think
We don't
neither
own
one of
any.
us.
Neither one of you?
You'll have to go to somebody that does it,
Like
like Mr. Danny
Waste Pro?
Tankersley, and he
Pardon?
will bring you one, and of course, there's a charge, I don't know
Oh,
the
yeah.
charges. But Mr. Danny Tankersley, what's the name of his?
Captain's quarters, isn't it?
Captain's containers.
Containers, something like that.
Containers.
Containers,
Captain's.
Captain's container.
containers.
Captain's Container.
Okay. Yeah, I was sitting waiting, I was holding my breath until I turned purple, so I decided I shouldn't hold my breath anymore to ask the question.
You need to quit posting them double birthdays. Nobody knows when your birthday is.
I know, isn't that just ridiculous? My birthday is January 6th.
Oh, yeah.
No, here's what I said. I said, this is a picture from my 70th
70th?
birthday.
I know.
I didn't say it was my
That's what I
70th
tell
birthday.
everybody, I'm 67 today, but it ain't my birthday.
All right.
Thank you, Ms. Latham.
Okay.
Anyone else in the audience? Come on up, Chester.
Chester Davis, pastor of Philadelphia Baptist Church and president of PAC. We had talked briefly about getting some representation on the variance committee, and we have the two people here tonight, and that we talked about, Brother Gathers and Sister Matthews, and I know that they need to see Miss Charlotte. Is there any information that they need to bring to Miss Charlotte? That's what I want.
Ms. Charlotte.
What
If they
committee
will,
are they?
the
Planning
application
Planning
is
board.
online, you can download it there, or you may come by City Hall and pick one up, complete it, and return it to us by, I believe it's the 13th.
You need a resume also?
If they would like to submit a resume, that's fine.
But it's not necessary.
It's not necessary, no.
That's the one. And the other one is that in the city, we're starting to try to replace the cans for the Waste Pro. One of the things we have to try to replace is the way they're putting the cans out. We need any calls that come in that tell them to turn the cans so they'll face the road, the lid, and that'll prevent the automated machine to tearing those lids off, and that'll help. And we'll
The lid facing, with opens facing out.
Right. So that'll keep that
Wheels,
machine.
wheels to the back.
Right,
Yep.
yeah. It'll save some of those cans because when it's snatched, if it dumps out the proper way, it won't break that lid. Other than that, we're in the process of trying to replace them one by one, and we'll get it done as soon as we possibly can. If there's any other issues that we're having with the city with that, please contact me. Now, my hours is 8 to 12. Bye.
Chester, I do have, I received a compliment about you today. First thing this morning, I woke up and said, I finally got a new can. I've been trying for 3 months, and it just arrived today. So, thank you.
All right.
People are recognizing it.
All right. Anyone else in the audience? Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor, if there is nobody else, I want to do something a little bit different. Mr. Sickles, you come up to the podium for a moment. I don't know if everybody's met Mr. Sickles. Have y'all, Jim Sickles?
You mean Jimmy?
I know a few of you.
Introduced to you as Jimmy.
Jimmy, okay. Well, you moved here about a year ago,
Correct.
and he's been very involved in our community. He's been to most of the meetings that I know of since we've been here. I know when the storm was coming, he offered to me, I think some of you other guys, to maybe, as a volunteer, any of the elderly that needed any help in anything that may arise in that. And I just want to say thank you. This is what we want. This is what we like. These are the people we love when they move to our community, and I just want to say thank you for your volunteering and thank you for your community involvement.
And this is not my first time in Florida. I grew up in Florida.
All right.
I was away for quite a few years with my career and that, but retired, moved back here, and I love it.
All right.
And we're glad to have you here.
I love the neighborhood and the area around here.
Thank you.
I
very
just
you
want to
so
say
much.
thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Anyone else in the audience? Anyone else? Come on up, Toss.
Magistrate. Question, I did, and I thank John for acting as fast as he did about the Jones Gym, the tennis court and the outdoor court, the lights, and the tennis court itself is got grass growing up in it. And so my question tonight, who is maintaining that?
Commissioner Thursby had that very discussion with me today. That'll be us.
Okay, it will be us.
Yeah, it will be us. You know, we went through a lull with the inmate squads not being able to clean, and there's been some other issues, so we've been trying to do the best we could over there. But we'll circle back around between ourselves or one of the other inmate squads.
Okay.
Make sure that happens.
That's what I need.
Charles, I'd love to see tennis get active again. I'm an old tennis player from way back, and we don't have enough
Way
courts.
back.
And that was- We almost turned those into
100 years
pickleball,
ago.
so.
And we had it, that court was so nice and now it hadn't been maintained. So you got grass growing up. I think it would just take some herbicide or something, go out there and just spray it, you know, because, you know, it's too good of a court to just let go to waste like
I'd love to see some activity on it.
Charles, for the record, Mr. Anderson was the one that took care of that gym and the lights.
Thanks for collaborating. Thank the county too. The county guys helped out too. So
Well, and I think the way I did it, I actually talked to Cindy, then I called John.
Right, then Jim
He left a message for Jim.
The ball landed in his court.
But anyway, it got taken care of. I appreciate
Good,
it.
thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mr. Atwood sent us some net out there, somewhere there's a new net.
Yeah, we put the net up out there.
Oh, you did get it out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's been up. It's been up for a while.
Good, good.
All right. Anyone else from the public? Anyone else? Commissioner Roselle, I'll start with you.
Okay, Mayor, the only thing I have tonight is on November 2nd, we'll be traveling to Tallahassee to advocate for the city on the Centennial Building grant. And it starts at 8 o'clock. I think Ms. Charlotte said we're the number 6
Yes.
presenters there. Thanks to Ms. Charlotte. She getting everybody together, tried to get quite a few folks from Port St. Joe that live in Tallahassee and folks from here to go to. She's spoken to Senator Montford about trying to attend. We're trying to put on a good showing and maybe get that money this year. So thanks to Ms. Charlotte, and we'll be going up there and reporting back how that goes.
All
That's
right.
it.
Is that it?
Yep.
Commissioner Ashbrook.
All I really have, Mayor, is just for everyone's knowledge, the Gateway Apartments, of course, we all know are now open. They're having their official grand opening this Thursday from 11 to 4. I was asked to tell everybody to please come out and take a look. They'll have some units open to take a look at. It's really a sight to see. I mean, for the price they're paying, they're really getting a nice place. And that is all that I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Mr. Thursby.
Miss Matthews went ahead with the sidewalk project being finished, and I'm glad she did. I'd rather her bring it up than me. But it does look really nice other than the backfilling, and it was a project that took a while, but we finally got it done. And I believe it'll keep those children out of the street, walking back and forth from the store. And I'm glad to see that done. I believe Deuter Park, John, is 100% complete as far as the playground itself.
The playground structure that we purchased is 100%. It's open. We still have some work to do around the existing and a few more elements of that FERDAP, so we're still working on that.
But anybody that has children need to go and check out the new equipment down at 16th Street Park. And the last thing I got, and I'm not going to make this long, but you know, guys, I watch on TV and I see what's happening in our nation. I see what's happening in Las Vegas. I've seen the storms that we've had. I just encourage everybody to just pray for our nation, because I'm telling you, we're in a bad way right now. There's a lot that's happening, not just in the United States, but all over. And it's just heartbreaking to see what happened in Las Vegas. It's heartbreaking to see people in Puerto Rico, Miami, struggling because of the storms. Our nation needs prayer, and I just ask everyone to do so. And that's all I have.
Thank you. I just got a couple of things. I was approached today about the lights on Mimosa. They still haven't been installed.
Okay.
You know,
Let me find out about that. Yes, we turned in all the paperwork on that, Mayor. Let's
Yeah, I
find
told them
out.
we turned everything in.
That's 3 months ago.
I know, they tell me that if you got a light burn out,
He'll be
if the
right there.
homeowner calls, they get it turned on a lot quicker than at the city.
Enough
calls.
we do.
That's what I've been told. They have
You know,
3
there may
days
be
for a
something
citizen
to
call.
that, because I called on
City,
my
they take
own
the
and got it
time.
changed. There may be something to that, y'all.
That's what I was told.
I think it's Jim called. Jim, they don't like you.
We'll both call them. We'll have the homeowner and us call.
Chester, from 12 to 4, we're going to need you to work for Duke as well.
I told that person on Mimosa just to be patient and, we
I'll
get
follow
it for
it.
him.
Mayor, they're also supposed to replace all the lights in town with,
I know, with LED lights.
with LEDs. Yes, sir.
I'm waiting on that one. And another thing, and I don't think I've told this story. If I did, maybe some of you here didn't hear it, so I'll tell it again. About a couple of weeks ago, I had a lady call me on my phone, and she had been down here because of the hurricane. She had come down south because they had to evacuate, and she just wanted to tell me how thankful she was to the city of Port St. Joe, to all the residents that she had run into here. They had bent over backwards to help her and do what she needed done. And that's a great reflection on our citizens and on our town. It's great when somebody calls me and tells me things like that. I know that we've got good citizens, and this reassures me that they're taking care of people when people need taken care of. And I thank you citizens for that. And that's all I've got. Motion to adjourn.
So move.
So moved.